What's up guys, it's Masked Up Swede. Right now I'm checking out the deadly war in East London. Malistrip versus Priory Court. So this one, yeah, I don't know much about this beef. I know about Malistrip of course, but I don't know about Priory Court. I don't know exactly where these guys are from. I know it's East obviously, but yeah man. And also, big up Skyboy on the video. Go check out his channel. Go like the video. Go subscribe. And yeah, let's check it out. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe on my video as well. We're on the way to 1,000 subs. Help me get there. Let's go.
Today we're in Waltham Forest. Waltham Forest is a London borough in East London. Waltham Forest is one of the most diverse areas in the country. An estimated 53% of the residents come from minority ethnic background.
53%, that's a lot. But yeah, I don't know what it would be in like other areas, but it sounds like a lot.
53% of the residents come from minority ethnic background. Many of those whose first language is other than English. The borough is vibrant and culturally rich, benefiting from a blend of ages, heritage and local history. The borough is divided into 4 areas: Chingford, Waltham.
That's a mad name, Chingford.
And local history. The borough is divided into 4 areas.
Especially like what you think about Chingin now, and it's called Chingford. That's crazy.
Chingford, Walthamstow, Leighton and Leytonstone.
Okay, I've heard Leighton and Leytonstone, but don't know where it is, like around, what's around it, basically, I don't know.
Each area has its own identity and heritage, from the Queen Elizabeth Hunting Lodge in Chingford to London's oldest house in Walthamstow.
That's mad about London as well, because even in all these postcodes that have like mad stuff going on, there's always some like royal family stuff or something like that everywhere as well.
Elizabeth Hunting Lodge in Chingford to London's oldest house in Walthamstow. Waltham Forest has one of the highest proportions of children living in both relative and absolute low-income families. In 2020 to 2021, 11,201 children under the age of 16 were living in absolute low-income.
I don't know what income that would be in the UK though, but I guess it's not much. But yeah, like 20%, that's kind of crazy still.
Families in Waltham Forest, equivalent to 18.4% of children. Now today I'll be discussing 2 gangs that are at each other's throats in this borough, Malistrip v Priory Court, and how things developed to get to this point. Malistrip is a gang made up of 2 sets, LT, also known as L Tizzy, which stands for Loose Trappers, and SJ, which stands for St. James, named after the location St. James Road. El Tizzy is made up of mainly first-generation Somali teenagers. Although originally being a small gang, it grew over the years and it will soon grow into conflict with neighbouring Oliver Close gang.
Yeah, obviously Malistrip, the ones I know about is like Richie, but he stopped making music. I think it was for like religious reasons, they say. But yeah, other than that, it's Rondo Montana I know about, Baby Maine. That's pretty much it, to be honest. But yeah, we'll see if they talk about them in the video.
Which ran most of Leighton High Road at the time. Also, we are talking about Walthamstow, so we're going to be mainly focusing on the SJ side of Malistrip. Now PCB, aka Priory Court, are a gang based on Priory Court Estate, E17, Waltham Forest. They also go by Higham Hill Road. Priory Court was originally known as Priory Court Grey Gang, as it was part of the Grey Gang Alliance in 2007, alongside gangs such as Hornsey Grey Gang and Busy Block.
Joe, don't let me, where are you? Where are you? Priory Court. Where they at? Ghost Town, innit? Priory Ghost Town. Team man up there.
Med vår nya Vettex mikrofiberduk.
Yeah, that looked a bit mad. I'm guessing that was the ops making a video on their block. I would guess so, at least that's what it looked like.
Priory Court gang have been Now, the Drive Gang and Priory Court Gang have been beefing since the early 2000s, with a long history of several shootings, stabbings and murders between the two sides. Up until 2017, Malistrip were cool with both sides and did not get involved in the beef. This would however soon change with the death of Malistrip member EJ. Now, on the 7th of May 2017, two LGR drug dealers armed with knives waited behind the phone box before pouncing on EJ, real name Elijah Dornelli. Now, Elijah was able to dodge the first blow from Rebecca Suarez, but then was stabbed in the stomach by Morgan Mockford. Now, the seriously injured EJ managed to run into a nearby Arabian Nights cafe, but suffered massive blood loss and was pronounced dead in hospital 2 hours later. The death of EJ made Malistrip a lot more savage. In fact, a few days after EJ's death, Malistrip member Hammer would shoot up an arcade while trying to shoot the killer of EJ. Police traced EJ's killer's movements to a nearby fast food restaurant, and they were identified by local officers before being arrested at their homes on May 15th. Now, Mockford of Randolph Road, Walthamstow, and Rebecca Suarez of Caxton Road, Southall, were found guilty of murder by a majority of 10-2 after a 3-week trial. Mockford, who was 17 at the time, will spend at least 17 years behind bars, whereas Rebecca Suarez was jailed for life with a minimum term of 19 years. Now, the significance of EJ's death was that he was very close with Priory Court, and with the Drive Gang and Priory Court beef getting more intense, Malistrip decided to side with the more historically closer ally and chose the Drive Gang. Priory Court didn't waste any time letting Malistrip know how they felt. A few Priory Court members would travel to St. James, where they would spot several Malistrip members, including Hammer and another SJ member, in a Subway takeaway shop.
It seems like stuff was happening quick, man.
Priory Court members would spray acid on Hammer and stab another SJ
not the acid stuff. That's crazy.
takeaway shop. The Priory Court members would spray acid on Hammer and stab another SJ member in the chest. Subway worker Jasvin Dare, 28, said he was making a teenager's foot-long sub when the hooded gang bust in, armed with huge machetes, at around 6:40 PM on November the 14th. I was terrified, he said. I didn't know what to do. There were so many people fighting, I couldn't do anything to help. This one guy wearing a mask swung this huge knife and stabbed him below the ribcage. He fell to the floor screaming. His friends gathered around and were holding his wound. They didn't say anything to each other. A spokesman for the Metropolitan Police said 4 men and 4 male youths were arrested on suspicion of GBH. Both Malistrip members would soon recover from their injuries and were filled with rage that they would soon channel into revenge. Now, 2 days after being attacked on the 16th of November 2017, Malistrip members including Hammer, El Money, Camille, etc. would get into 2 cars and travel to Priory.
So he got stabbed in under the rib cage and he rid out like 2 days later. That's crazy, man.
El Money, Camille, etc. would get into 2 cars and travel to Priory Court territory. Soon after, they spotted Kasim Mokrane, aka Kizzy, walking down Higham Hill Road, and they would all hop out and chase him with knives. They would all surround Kizzy, who had his back against the wall. Then they proceeded to stab him several times before running back to their cars and speeding off. Kasim Mokrane, who was a member of Priory Court, would die 4 days later in hospital. Immediately after
R.I.P. man.
the murder, Hammer flew to Pakistan. Now, as tit for tats go, angered by the death of Kizzy, Priory Court members were seeking revenge. The same day that Kasim had officially been pronounced dead, Priory Court members went on a ride out armed with a submachine gun. It was in the territory of the Drive Gang, who were linked with Malistrip, where they would spot Khan Chick, aka Caps, a member of the Drive Gang, and shot him twice. Fortunately, Caps survived, but had
And these guys been working quickly, man. The same day, and that's crazy, man.
permanent issues to his leg. Now, forward to 2018, after having issues with his passport, Hammer was forced to return to the UK. Immediately after returning, Hammer was back gangbanging, just 5 days after returning to the UK. On the 14th of March 2018, Hammer, Loic Nengiz, also known as Els, and Keems, who were all members of the Malistrip gang, armed themselves with a pistol and travelled on foot to Priory Court territory. Now, Joseph William Torres, aka Nino, was a Priory Court member. He was listening to music in his van with his friend when he was ambushed by the three men. Hammer would draw a pistol and shoot Nino several times in the chest at point blank range, and then shoot his legs when he tried to get out of the van. After the shooting, all three attackers fled. Nino died on the way to hospital less than...
Damn, R.I.P. again, man.
After the shooting, all three attackers fled. Nino died on the way to hospital less than an hour later. Now Keems ended up dropping his phone at the scene, which is what led to the three being arrested so soon after the murder. Hammer, real name Hamza, 21, Loic Nengiz, 19, and a 16-year-old Keems all denied his murder. Miss Hunter said the defendants were friends who were associated with the same gang which had become increasingly violent and angry since the murder of one of their own, Elijah Dornelli, back in May 2017. They were engaged in a turf war with other gangs, jurors heard. In November 2017, Hamza had been squirted with acid and another boy was stabbed by a group of masked hooded males.
Damn, acid again.
Hamza had been squirted with acid and another boy was stabbed by a group of masked hooded males in Walthamstow, the court also heard. Hamza presumed it was gang rivals as they set out to avenge the attack on March 14th, jurors were told. Now Keems admitted to being at the scene but declined to name who he was with, saying it was not his co-accused. He claimed he thought it was going to be a robbery and did not know anything about a gun. All three will be sentenced to 20 plus years for the murder of Joseph in 2019. Now it didn't look like things were going to get any better in Walthamstow, as just a month later on the 2nd of April 2018, Priory court members will be looking for revenge for the murder of Nino. They would arm themselves with a shotgun and a machete and drive into Malistrip territory with murder on their mind. They would spot Amman Shakur and his friends outside Walthamstow Leisure Centre. Amman was gunned down, shot in the face while they stabbed his friend in the arm. The Priory court members then fled the scene. It is said by many that Amman was a civilian but may have been around some gang members. His innocence was echoed by a man who gave his name.
Yeah, I mean, in these circumstances, you gotta choose who you hang around, it seems like. Because like they send a friend of a op is a op, so... But yeah, R.I.P. man. Of course, nobody deserves to die either way. But yeah, man.
Civilian, but may have been around some gang members. His innocence was echoed by a man who gave his name only as Osman, 32 years old, speaking at the scene about Amman Shakur. He was just a good lad. He wasn't involved in gangs or drugs or anything like that. It was a case of mistaken identity. He was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. There are gang wars going on and this young lad just unfortunately got caught up in it. Amman's murder still remains unsolved. Now on the 22nd of September 2018, Guled Farah, a 19-year-old civilian, will be getting out of his car in Valentin Road, which is territory of the Drive gang. The car would pull up and Guled would be shot. He died around 40 minutes later. A post-mortem examination gave his cause of death as a gunshot wound to the chest.
R.I.P. again, man, another civilian.
It is believed that Guled Farah was mistaken as a gang member.
All of these murders seem to be like within a year. That's crazy as well.
He was in fact a civilian from Newham. Delston Galloway, 25 years old, who was a Priory court member, would later be charged with the murder, but was acquitted on the 27th of September 2019 and discharged after the Crown Prosecution Service dropped the case. Now in December 2018, Daniel Fakoya, aka Kodak, a member of Priory Court, and two other men drove a stolen car into Leighton High Road.
That's a rusty ass gun, man. But yeah, I mean, we've heard about guns jamming and that type of stuff, but that gun looks so bad, man.
Territory of Malistrip. They were armed with a loaded gun, a knife, and ammonia. They encountered and chased 4 members of Malistrip until they ran and hid inside an off-license. Kodak attempted to flee in his car but took a turn too quickly and crashed, narrowly missing pedestrians. He ran from the scenes, but officers identified him from the blood on their airbag. A loaded handgun was found in the footwell of the driver's seat. While awaiting trial from prison, Kodak ran a drugs line. Kodak's cell was raided by the officers, where they found 80 wraps of cocaine as well as recorded prison phone calls.
Wait, did they find 80 wraps of cocaine in his jail cell?
Officers, where they found 80 wraps of cocaine as well as Kodak's cell was raided by the officers, where they found 80 wraps of cocaine as well as recorded prison phone calls
That's crazy.
detailing his drug network. Now, Paul Jenkins, senior crown prosecutor, said the many offences for which Kodak was found guilty illustrate the true extent of his involvement in the criminal underworld despite his young age. Daniel Fukoya, aka Kodak, is a member of a dangerous criminal gang and set out on the evening to cause someone some really serious harm. His removal from London streets will make the capital a safer place. Daniel Fukoya previously pleaded guilty to aggravated driving and was found guilty by a jury of 8 other counts, including conspiracy to possess a firearm, conspiracy to cause grievously bodily harm, and conspiracy to supply controlled drugs. Daniel was later sentenced to 15 years in prison. During 2020, while Hammer was serving his life sentence, he and other Malistrip members were charged for the murder of Kasim Mulcrane, aka Kizzy from Priory Court, who he had killed 6 months before Joseph. It was also revealed that when police searched Hammer's house, they found a list that he wrote, which he had names of ops he wanted to kill. Joseph.
Nah, that seems dumb, man. To have a list written down in your room with the ops you wanna kill. That's yeah, man.
House, they found a list that he wrote, which he had names of ops he wanted to kill. Joseph and Kasim's names were crossed off the list. Now, on the evening of October 23rd, 2020, Priory Court's members travelled into Malistrip territory. Priory Court members spotted Bubakar Jabi Dukara, who was also known as Bubba. He was stabbed in the chest and collapsed on his doorstep in a pool of blood after being attacked by 5 teenagers just a feet from his home in Walthamstow. Now, Samuel Bartley, 19, Jamal Daki Saga Benitez, also 19, Alfie Ferguson, also 19, and Kayan Dekadova, 20, were found guilty of murder. Micaiah, who was 15 at the time, was not part of the trial because he was taken abroad by his family and only returned to the UK a week before it started. Now, Bubakar was a civilian, so the trend of Priory Court members killing civilians in the spur of the moment continued.
R.I.P. man.
Baba's devastated parents and siblings described him as loving, friendly, popular, quiet young man. His mother said the vile killers had not only taken Baba's life but ruined that of his family by their evil, barbaric acts. The judge added that Bubakar was not the intended target, he was just there, and together with others in your group, you killed him. Your victim was defenseless and unarmed. Now, Alfie Ferguson was sentenced to 22 years. Kayan was sentenced to 20 years. Samuel Bartley was sentenced to 19 years. Jamal Benitez was sentenced to 17 years. And 15-year-old Joy Mackay was sentenced to 15 years.
Damn, wait, was he 15 and sentenced to 15?
And 15-year-old Joy Mackay was sentenced to 15 years.
Damn. They don't give out light sentences to like young guys either in the UK, man. To be honest, before I thought they would have some kind of like limit. But maybe that's like when you're under 15. Maybe it's from 15 you're like an adult in the eyes of the system. I'm not sure. Over here, like before you're 18, you get like light sentences, man. At least I think it's under 18. Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Now, in 2020, a police raid which ended up in 24 members of SJ being arrested and taken off the streets occurred. Over 300
That's a lot of people still.
officers executed warrants across 27 addresses in St. James Street area of Walthamstow.
That tells a lot as well. They gotta be over 300 officers to get down 24 guys. I mean, not get down physically, but like get them off the street, you know what I mean?
On the 4th of March, detectives seized Class A and B drugs, large amounts of cash, and several zombie-style knives. The early morning operations followed a 5-month investigation in partnership with Waltham Forest Council as part of a proactive operation to tackle the drivers of violent crime and act on community concerns. This had a positive ripple effect as the war simply died down due to the lack of rival members on the streets. And now I've come to the end of this chapter. As always, I send my condolences to the family of everyone I mentioned. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe as it goes a long way for uncensored and long.
Yeah, like and subscribe, man. But yeah, this one was a violent one. But I guess, like he said, it's died down because a lot of them are in jail. I mean, it's good that the violence stops, but yeah, it's a lot of young guys in jail as well. So yeah, I mean, it's a bit of both. But yeah, let me know what you think of this one in the comments, and don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace.